Are you ready?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a strange case of Sean, here with chapter 4 of my story, 2 Words For Ya. A story written by me, with some assistance from ChatGPT. I will recap the last chapter briefly, but be sure to check out the previous chapters. Now in chapter 3, we saw some interesting developments in the universe where Shawn Michaels runs everyday operations in the WWE as Chief Roster Officer. NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade have ascended to the top of NXT and are looking to further their ascension to the main roster. Stephanie Vacquer was to challenge for Roxanne's championship, but she was not medically cleared to compete. Instead, she defended her championship against Giulia. In a close contest, Rhea Ripley made her presence felt, which wound up distracting both competitors and would lead to Roxanne hitting Pop Rocks and retaining her championship. Rhea would make her way down to the ring, but not before getting blasted from behind by Zaria. Zaria would lay her out in the middle of the ring, bringing a smile to Roxanne Perez's face. Solo Sikoa demanded an undisputed WWE Championship match against Cody Rhodes from Shawn Michaels to begin an episode of SmackDown. Michaels obliged and made the match official. WWE World Heavyweight Champion Braun Breaker came out to gloat about his success when he was interrupted by Sami Zayn. They had a verbal face-off which would lead to Sami challenging Braun for a championship match at the Royal Rumble. Michaels then interrupted and axed it, but allowed Sami to participate in the Royal Rumble match as the first entrant. In the Undisputed Championship match, the Bloodline was met by DIY and Jey Uso to keep the interference to a minimum. While the referee was out, Jacob Fatu came in the ring and held Cody in position for a Samoan spike from Solo. Cody broke free in time for Solo to hit Fatu instead.
Oh no!
Cody then hit the Crossroads and retained the championship. Fatu recovered and walked away from the Bloodline to end SmackDown. And now, let's dive into chapter 4, shall we? The PLE begins with the Women's Royal Rumble match. The first 2 entrants are Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. Some time passes with entrant number 10 being Rhea Ripley. Rhea eliminates 3 competitors, including her old rival, Liv Morgan. Bianca and Rhea have a stare down. Entrant number 11 is Jade Cargill. Bianca and Jade group together and prepare to attack Rhea. They get the upper hand. More entrants pass, and entrant 17 is the man, Becky Lynch. Other entrants are eliminated, and in the ring are Becky, Rhea, Jade, and Bianca. Becky and Rhea get the upper hand and have a stare down. Entrant number 18 is Bayley. She immediately targets Rhea Ripley. She eggs on Becky to join with her, but Becky shoves her off. They argue mid-match. Jade and Bianca then attack them. Entrant number 19 is Asuka. She gets some shots in on everyone. Bianca hits her with a stiff forearm and knocks her down. She then continues to work on Bayley in the corner. Asuka then turns around and sprays her with her mist. Bianca is blinded and confused. She flails her arms around and makes her way to the ropes for direction. She bumps into Jade, who is hanging on the ropes, and then she clotheslines her over, eliminating her. Bianca then drops to the ground. She doesn't realize she eliminated her tag team partner. Jade is shocked. She sees Bianca screaming in pain. She pulls Bianca out of the ring and holds her by her hair and tries to wipe off the mist. Jade then throws Bianca into the steel steps multiple times, targeting her shoulder. She then proceeds to powerbomb Bianca on the steel steps. Medical rushes down and eliminate her from the match due to injury. More entrants pass, including the rest of Damage Control. The ring is piled up. Number 25 is Cora Jade. Rhea smiles and welcomes her into the ring. She is then attacked from behind by Damage Control. Cora makes her way into the ring and is met with a stiff forearm from Becky Lynch. Number 26 is Giulia. She enters the ring and locks eyes with Cora. Cora pleads for mercy. Dakota Kai takes a swing at Giulia and misses, but receives a German suplex for her troubles. Giulia then eliminates her. Io and Kairi then begin to team up on Giulia. Cora laughs it off, but is met again by Becky Lynch. Number 27 is Stephanie Vacquer, who has been medically cleared. She enters the ring and goes to her sister comrade Giulia. Kairi and her trade shots when Stephanie dodges a wild kick and drop kicks Kairi over the top rope to eliminate her. Asuka then begins to taunt Vacquer. Bayley steps next to her, proposing a partnership against Asuka. Giulia then comes from behind and delivers another massive German suplex. Bayley stumbles to her feet and is then eliminated by Io Sky. Number 28 is Zaria. Rhea looks on and provokes her to come in. Cora then attacks her from behind. Zaria enters the match and delivers a big headbutt to Becky. She and Cora team up on Rhea, beating her down. Asuka and Io then go to attack Zaria. Zaria quickly overpowers both of them and delivers a double clothesline. Rhea breaks out of Cora's grasp and hits her with a headbutt, and she rolls out of the ring. Zaria and Rhea have another stare down. Number 29 is NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. Rhea looks over Zaria, confused, leaving her vulnerable to a devastating attack. Roxanne laughs as she enters the ring. Roxanne goes to meet Zaria, but comes face to face with Io Sky. Roxanne then bumps into Becky Lynch. They begin to trade blows. The competitors are tired and have cornered off parts of the ring. In one are Asuka and Sky representing Damage Control, Zaria with Perez hiding behind her in another, Giulia and Stephanie in the third one, and Becky with a weakened Rhea in the fourth. Just in time for number 30, Charlotte Flair. Flair makes her triumphant return and runs into the ring, splashing Zaria and Perez. The ring becomes the most chaotic it has been so far in this match. Charlotte is craving to get her hands on Perez. Becky hits the manhandle slam on Io Sky, but is then cracked over the head with a brutal kick from Asuka. Asuka is then hit with a German suplex from Giulia. She stumbles back out to her feet and is then sent over the top rope via Hurricanrana from Vacquer. She skins the cat and gets back to the apron, but she is then met with a dropkick from Becky, who eliminates her. Giulia sees this and has a stare down with Becky. They trade blows, and Giulia sends Becky into the ropes via an Irish whip when Cora hits Becky in the back with the kendo stick. Becky is stunned and then eliminated by Roxanne Perez. Giulia looks on confused, but then proceeds to get shots from Io Sky. Roxanne taunts the crowd, forgetting that Charlotte Flair wants revenge. She turns around and begins to receive chops. She goes for one last chop, but is then caught by Zaria, who hits her with a headbutt, sending her down to the mat. Rhea turns around and Zaria hits her with a headbutt as well. Cora runs back into the ring and continues to pummel Rhea. She then crawls to Roxanne and hands her something. Zaria picks up Charlotte for an F5, but Charlotte counters it and hits Zaria in the back with a knee, and then hits a big boot to a rising Cora Jade to eliminate her. She kneels down to check on Rhea, but gets hit with a Shining Wizard from Io Sky. Giulia grabs Io from behind for what looks to be a German suplex, but she escapes and goes for her own when Roxanne grabs Io from behind and hits both women with a German suplex. The women writhe in pain on the ground. Roxanne sits in a corner to regain stamina. Zaria rises but doesn't see Rhea Ripley behind her, who clubs her in the back, but it has little effect. Zaria winds up for a clothesline, but is then hit with a spear from Charlotte. Charlotte then sees Io resting on the ropes and hits her with a big boot, eliminating her. Charlotte turns around to receive a sling blade from Giulia. She then sees a rising Zaria. She goes for a leg lariat, but Zaria shoots her over and into the arms of Rhea Ripley, who then completes the elimination of Giulia. The final four are Rhea, Charlotte, Zaria, and Perez. Rhea gains her composure, but is hit with a kick to the back of her head by Perez, sending her into Zaria's grasp for an F5. She whips Rhea into Charlotte before sending Rhea crashing to the mat. Zaria picks Rhea's motionless body up and throws her over the top rope. Charlotte pulls herself up to the ropes and is then charged by Roxanne, who is met with a big boot. Zaria then rushes Charlotte, but she dodges out of the way, eliminating Zaria. Zaria, angry, hits Rhea with another big boot as she tries to stand up. The final two are Charlotte and Roxanne Perez. They work a singles match with some close call eliminations for a few minutes. Charlotte gets Roxanne against the ropes and proceeds to hit her with chops. She dodges one of the chops and uses her momentum to send Charlotte over the ropes. Charlotte then pulls Roxanne by her hair over the ropes. They then fight on the apron. Roxanne dodges one of Charlotte's chops and kicks her in the gut. Roxanne pulls out brass knuckles and hits Charlotte square in the face, knocking her out and off the apron. Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, wins the Royal Rumble. The WWE Universe is stunned, unsure of how this will all work. The show continues, and we get to the World Heavyweight Championship match between defending champion Bron Breakker and challenger Seth Rollins. The chief roster officer Shawn Michaels makes his entrance to an arena full of boos. He grabs a microphone. What a hell of a night so far. I gotta say, without a doubt, this has been the best Royal Rumble PLE, and it's all thanks to me. The crowd boos loudly. Now I've given myself the duty to ring announce for this next match. Introducing first, and most importantly, your World Heavyweight Champion, Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker makes his entrance to boos from most of the crowd. He gets into the ring and shakes hands with Shawn Michaels. Michaels continues. And his challenger, Seth, washed up, that's not right. Overrated. No, definitely not that. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. The music of Seth Rollins plays. His appearance is delayed a bit. Michaels and Breakker seem confused. The camera shows backstage and follows the path to the parking garage, which shows Seth Rollins knocked out in the parking lot. The medical team rushes to his aid. They try to wake him up, but to no avail. A producer runs down the ramp and tells Michaels something. Michaels grabs the microphone. Well, based on these recent developments, it seems that Seth Rollins can't compete. So your winner, by forfeit, and still World Heavyweight Champion, Braun Breakker. The crowd boos as Braun and Michaels celebrate in the ring. The main event of the evening is the men's Royal Rumble match, with the first entrant being Sami Zayn. The crowd sings his song as he makes his way down the ramp and makes his final preparations for arguably his greatest test. Entrant number 2 is Kevin Owens. Sami's face is conflicted. They share words instead of striking each other at first. Sami says he needs this, and Kevin says he needs it more, and they begin to trade blows. Entrant number 3 is Finn Balor. He runs into the ring and begins attacking Sami. More entrants come in with notable entrants such as Carlito and JD McDonough. JD is eliminated quickly when Finn wasn't paying attention, and he received a haluva kick from Sami. Entrant number 12 is NXT's Oba Femi, who eliminates Carlito and some other entrants. Oba turns his attention to Sami, and he continues to brutalize him. Owen comes in to defend his friend, but Oba shuts him down. He picks up Owens and hits him with a power slam. Entrant number 13 is Damian Priest, who goes around to anyone in sight and strikes them, and gets his way to Oba. They have a stare down, and Priest challenges him. They begin to share strikes. Entrant number 14 is the Bloodline's Tama Tonga. He comes in and aggressively attacks Sami Zayn in the corner. Entrant number 15 is Johnny Gargano, who comes in after Tama. Kevin Owens pushes Gargano aside and continues the assault on Tama. Gargano grabs Owen and asks him what he's doing. Owen, seething, strikes Gargano in the face. Entrant number 16 is Tommaso Ciampa, who runs in and takes down Owens. They trade blows on the ground. Sami tries to break it up, but Gargano attacks Sami. Entrant number 17 is Carmelo Hayes. He runs in and targets Sami Zayn as well. More entrants come out, who end up eliminated quickly by Oba and Priest respectively. Number 23 is Jacob Fatu, and the crowd falls silent at the arrival of the enforcer of the Bloodline. He enters the ring and makes his presence known quickly with his speed and power. He eliminates Gargano within the first minute of his time in the match. Tommaso aims for revenge, but meets the same fate, and before the next entrant eliminates all of DIY. Entrant number 24 is NXT's Ethan Page. He taunts the crowd. He enters the ring and tries to set up a partnership with Oba Femi. Oba seems hesitant, but Carmelo takes the offer. Priest hits a spinning big boot on Oba, laying him out. Priest and Finn stare at each other and then stare at Melo and Page. They nod their heads and begin attacking them. Several entrants pass, and at number 27 is Dominic Mysterio, who comes out to a chorus of boos. He immediately yells at Finn about teaming with Priest. Number 28 is Tanga Loa, who runs in and begins attacking Sami Zayn. Finn and Dominic join Tonga in the attack. Priest and Owens come in for the save. Number 29 is Jey Uso. The crowd erupts. Jey Uso begins splashing opponents in the corner. More eliminations occur, leaving the following in the ring: Sami, Kevin, Tonga, Tama, Jacob, Dominic, Finn, Priest, Page, Melo, Oba, and Jey Uso. And at number 30, Solo Sikoa enters the match. It is complete chaos inside the ring. One of these men will win the Royal Rumble. The Bloodline rendezvous in one of the corners, and Kevin Owens grows infuriated. The Bloodline charge him. He then hits Tonga with a stunner. Tama then runs at him, and he gets hit with a stunner. Jacob then also receives a stunner. Solo strikes Kevin multiple times, but he absorbs them and he yells at him. Solo then runs to the ropes for momentum, but he gets popped up in the air and hit with a powerbomb. The crowd cheers Owens on, but he is then blasted from behind with a big clothesline for Oba Femi, who then sends him over the top rope, eliminating him. The crowd boos, and Sami retaliates with some strikes from behind. Ethan Page works on Jey Uso in the corner. He then turns to the crowd and taunts, but it gives Jey enough time to recover and to hit Ethan with a super kick, and sets up Sami Zayn for a haluva kick that eliminates Ethan Page. Sami and Jey celebrate together, but then they are attacked by the Judgment Day. Priest grabs Dominic by his hair and hits him with a headbutt. Dominic staggers and gets back to his feet. He is then hit with a South of Heaven from Priest. Carmelo attacks Priest from behind. Carmelo isn't looking when he gets hit with a super kick from Jey Uso that eliminates him from the match. He then gets body tackled by Oba Femi. Oba looks to eliminate Jey, but more competitors come over and try to eliminate Oba. Oba fights them all off, but is then met with a big boot from Priest that does eliminate him. Priest with one leg over the top rope is then dumped over by Dominik Mysterio. He celebrates in the ring and turns to Finn for a hug, but they are attacked by the Bloodline. The field has dwindled to select members of the Judgment Day, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and the entire Bloodline. The entrants continue to fight. Dominik Mysterio spots Tanga Loa near the ropes, seizing the opportunity for an elimination. Tonga struggles to hang on, his feet dangling just above the floor. Tonga rushes to his aid, pulling him back in and fending off Dominik with a series of strikes. As Tama lifts Dominik for a counter elimination, Finn Balor sees the opening, charging from behind and flipping all three men over the top rope, sending Dominik, Tama, and Tonga crashing to the floor in a shocking elimination. Dominik looks on shocked. Finn shrugs his shoulders, but is then grabbed from behind by Jacob Fatu, who hits a German suplex. Solo then picks him up and throws him over the ropes, but he hangs on. He then hits a Samoan spike to eliminate him. We are down to the final four: Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa. Jey fights Jacob while Sami fights Solo. Jey and Jacob are evenly matched. Jey gets the advantage by hitting Jacob with a great spear. Carmelo runs back down to the ring and goes onto the apron, calling for Jey's attention. Jey attacks him, but he is then tossed out of the ring by a returning Oba Femi and is eliminated. Oba and Melo then beat up Jey out of the arena and into the parking garage. Oba then powerbombs Jey Uso on top of a car. Melo then shouts, "We're gonna need another ambulance." Back in the ring, Sami is battered, beaten, and tired. Solo sees this as a great sign to secure a victory and another shot at becoming champion. Solo yells to the crowd to acknowledge him. He then receives an unexpected super kick from Jacob Fatu. Solo falls to his knees. Jacob picks him up and throws him out of the ring, eliminating his tribal chief. Tama and Tonga come out to collect Solo, but look confused at the events that just happened. It all comes down to Jacob Fatu and Sami Zayn. Fatu charges at Sami with a brutal running splash in the corner, crushing him against the turnbuckle. Sami collapses to the mat, gasping for air, as Fatu hits a devastating moonsault. The crowd groans in sympathy for Sami, who looks completely spent. Fatu lifts Sami for a Samoan drop, but Sami slips behind and pushes Fatu towards the turnbuckle. Fatu turns around to eat a haluva kick from Sami. Sami quickly prepares to go for another haluva kick. As Sami begins to run, Fatu sidesteps at the last moment, catching Sami off balance. Fatu grabs Sami around the waist and hoists him into the air for a crushing pop-up Samoan drop. The move sends shockwaves through the ring, leaving Sami sprawled out on the mat. Jacob picks up Sami and throws him over the ropes, but Sami hangs on. He dangles on the apron. As he fights to get back in, Fatu delivers a devastating super kick that still doesn't get the job done. He follows that with a running shoulder block, sending Sami crashing to the floor. Jacob Fatu is the winner of the Royal Rumble. Sami's dream of being champion may be gone for good. A monumental Royal Rumble is in the books, and as always, the road to WrestleMania is sure to be rocky. What are Jacob Fatu's plans? How can Roxy challenge for a world championship while already being NXT Women's Champion? And is Seth Rollins gone for good? We will have to see what the future chapters have in store. And that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to check out the previous chapters as well. I appreciate all the support. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.